Hello everyone, my name is Jinjos, and welcome to my playthrough of Bageltop's Marvel Legendary campaign. We have completed Chapter 2, and today we will be entering Chapter 3 of the campaign, where we will be adding in the Fantastic Four expansion. This opening chapter will be summarized as it is quite long, but I highly encourage you to play through this campaign yourself for the great thematic gameplay and the intense team-building decisions. Mission 7. Cosmic Rays. In the 6 months since the events of your last big team assignment, your newfound notoriety inside and out of S.H.I.E.L.D. has had you hopping from country to country, participating in a seamlessly endless chain of field missions. Imagine your surprise when you were summoned back to S.H.I.E.L.D. HQ in New York for a special assignment. It'll be good to be back home. When you arrive at HQ, you are surprised to find a very familiar group of heroes waiting for you. Wolverine, Angel, Colossus, Rogue, Cyclops, and Nightcrawler. A woman in S.H.I.E.L.D. attire walks in, the click-clack of her heels echoing throughout the empty entryway. I've called you all here for an extremely top-secret assignment. As you are all well aware, the supervillain attacks witnessed 6 months ago, not to mention the Skrull invasion, have resulted in S.H.I.E.L.D. reprioritizing our efforts. While your field missions have been focused on crisis detail, our HQ stateside have been coordinated around more preventative measures. Please brace yourself for what you're about to see, and I assure you everything is under control. Agent Khan punches something into her phone, and a few seconds later, a door on the east side of the room slides open, and into the room walks Red Skull, and wearing a S.H.I.E.L.D. uniform. Agent Khan continues, he came to us. You see, with the supervillain activity on the rise, we reopened some controversial projects S.H.I.E.L.D. has tackled in the past, one of which was Project Star Stuff. You remember Project Star Stuff. Once renowned scientist Dr. Reed Richards revealed to the world how he and the rest of the Fantastic Four got their superpowers. S.H.I.E.L.D. scientists immediately launched several experimental projects in an attempt to harness cosmic rays for themselves and create their own superpowered S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. Unfortunately, the project was shelved after millions of dollars were lost in failed attempts. Agent Khan continues. We took Red Skull into custody, of course, but after a thorough series of scans and evaluations, he somehow didn't seem to be of any threat. He explained to us that he had reformed himself and that he alone knew how to successfully complete Project Star Stuff. I suppose the higher-ups have their reasons, but he was approved to begin working on the project. Under strict supervision, of course. This is insane, you think to yourself. After a few moments of awkwardness, Red Skull gestures towards you and asks you to follow him. He leads you through the door he came in, and you find yourself in what appears to be a laboratory. You see a massive abstract machine with a translucent chamber in the center, and a roof open to the sky with what appears to be a massive lightning rod at the top. Red Skull hits a few buttons at the base of the panel. Suddenly, the machine springs to life. You hear a series of hisses, pops, and whooshes, and the whole room shakes. Suddenly, the entire room is filled with a burst of heat and all the colors of the rainbow, knocking you all backwards several feet before the colors burst up the lightning rod and scatter across the sky. Scrambling to your feet, you hear maniacal laughter echoing from near the control panel. You look over at Red Skull, whose expression seems to have completely changed. This is the Red Skull you know. Fools! He shouts. You've played right into my hand. I must thank you for allowing me to release myself from my self-induced amnesic state. Such powerful cosmic radiation was indeed enough to bring me back. Now! All around the room, a series of traps spring open, and out pour Hydra soldiers as the door to the entryway locks shut. You hear screaming in the distance. Just what did he do? Write down Cosmic Ray Level 3. Before we dive into the game, let's take a look at our team setup and decide which one of our heroes will be left behind. One of our archetypes will be based around strength heroes, with Draw Their Fire leading the charge by granting us 3 attack but suffering a wound when played, and all at the low cost of 1 recruit. To counteract that wound, we will be using Colossus' other common card, Invulnerability, which we can discard in response to gaining a wound, to not only counter the wound, but also draw 2 cards. We can also use Wolverine's uncommon card, No Mercy, which will draw us a card, and we can KO a card from our hand or discard. With these 3 strength heroes, we shouldn't have any problem activating Colossus' strength ability in the uncommon card, Silent Statue, which will grant us 4 attack and gain us 2 more when activated. This will also bring Rogue into the mix with her common card Borrowed Brawn, which only grants us 1 attack when played, but when activated gives us an additional 3. Our other archetype, which will be based around Angel's common strength card, Diving Catch, which can grant us 2 recruit, but when it is discarded, we will rescue a bystander and draw 2 cards. Very similar effect to Colossus' card. For this, we will need some discard outlets, such as Angel's common card High Speed Chase, which will let us draw 2 cards and discard 1. If we discard Diving Catch, we'll be basically drawing 3 cards. We can also discard it through Drop Off a Friend, which will grant us 2 attack, and we can also discard a card to gain attack equal to that card's recruit cost. If we discard Diving Catch, we will be gaining 6 total attack, drawing 2 cards, and rescuing a bystander. We will also have discard outlets in Determination, which will grant us 3 recruit, but we must discard a card to use it, and an Optic Blast, which grants us 3 attack and discard a card. The big combo card for this archetype is Unending Energy, which grants us 4 attack, and when it is discarded, it is put back in our hand. This will let us play our Cyclops cards with no downside from the discard, and will give us a huge boost of damage if we use Drop Off a Friend with it, gaining us 12 attack with just 2 cards. Our next set of cards are pretty flexible, and we luckily have quite a few of them in copy powers, which can be played as a copy of any previously played card, blended into the shadows, which gives us 2 attack, and we can teleport it, Energy Drain, which gives us 2 recruit, and when activated by a covert hero will KO a card, and give us 1 more recruit. Swashbuckler, which gives us 3 attack, and when activated by an instinct and a covert hero will give us 3 more. Animal Instincts, which draws us a card, and when activated by an instinct hero will give us 2 attack. Sudden Ambush, which gives us 2 attack, and an additional 2 if we draw a card. And Bamf, which gives us 2 recruit, and we can teleport it. Looking through our heroes, I think Nightcrawler stands out as the one who doesn't seem to have any foot in either archetype, and leaving him behind I don't think will hinder our gameplay, so we decide to leave him behind. The one negative that this does create is now Animal Instincts will be tough to activate, but playing a card to draw a card is in a sense deck thinning, if he is never activated. Moving into game setup, we will be taking on Bathe the Earth and Cosmic Rays scheme. We will include 6 schemes in the villain deck, and for each one we draw, each player in turn will reveal their hand, KO a non-gray hero, and then recruit a hero with the same or lower cost into their hand. Red Skull will win if the number of non-gray heroes in the KO pile is 6 times the number of players, in this case, 12. For the Mastermind, we'll be taking on Red Skull. When a Master Strike is drawn, each player will KO a hero from their hand. Red Skull will be leading the charge with Hydra behind him, along with the Streets of New York villain group, and his henchmen will be the Maggia Goons. Our open HQ contains an Animal Instincts, Draw Their Fire, another copy of Animal Instincts, Energy Drain, and Diving Catch. Harrison wins the biggest toe contest and starts us off. Harrison draws 5 agents, 1 trooper, and then a bystander from the villain deck, which Red Skull will capture. Harrison plays out, and while Animal Instincts is a bit weaker, he decides to pick one up, replacing it with Determination. He recruits another Animal Instincts, hoping to trigger them off of one another, and replaces it with No Mercy. He then makes his move into the Strength archetype by recruiting Draw Their Fire, replacing it with Diving Catch, getting 3 non-gray heroes in your deck on turn 1. Not too bad. He passes. Miles draws 3 agents, 3 troopers, and then a Viper from the villain deck. When they fight her, or if she escapes, each player will gain a wound unless they already have a Hydra villain in their victory pile. Miles plays out and wants to get some early recruit in by nabbing up an Energy Drain, replacing it with Borrowed Brawn. He passes. Harrison draws 3 agents, 3 troopers, and then a Scheme Twist from the villain deck. Neither of our players have a non-gray hero on their hand, so there is no effect. He plays out and doesn't want to take away any of the available cards from that discard archetype, and decides to recruit a shield officer. He passes. Miles draws 5 agents, 1 trooper, and then a Jigsaw from the villain deck. When he enters the city, each player will have to discard 3 cards and draw 2. Miles does so, discarding 2 agents and a trooper, and draws a trooper and an Energy Drain. Jigsaw also has the bribe mechanic, meaning that we can use any combination of recruit and attack to fight him. Miles plays out, and while Diving Catch is available, he would rather get the enablers for the synergy first before getting the payoffs, so he recruits High Speed Chase. It also activates Energy Drain when played together. It is replaced by Drop Off a Friend. He also recruits Determination to give him another boost in recruit, nice and early. It's replaced by Silent Statue. He passes. Harrison draws 3 agents, a trooper, a shield officer, and then an endless armies of Hydra from the villain deck. When they are fought, 2 cards from the villain deck must be played. He plays out, and then recruits No Mercy to counter the wound he will gain from Draw Their Fire. It's replaced by Energy Drain. He passes. Miles draws 3 agents, 3 troopers, and then a Bullseye from the villain deck. When he is fought, we will have to KO a hero with a recruit symbol, and another one with an attack symbol. He plays out, and with only one option, he recruits Energy Drain, replacing it with another copy of Energy Drain. He passes. Harrison draws 3 agents, a trooper, Animal Instincts, Draw Their Fire, and then a Tombstone from the villain deck. He could be bribed, and when he escapes, each player will gain a wound unless they reveal a strength hero. Harrison plays Animal Instincts, drawing his other copy of Animal Instincts. He plays that activated and draws an agent. He plays out and gains a wound from the Draw Their Fire. He recruits Borrowed Brawn, which is replaced by Draw Their Fire. He then fights Bullseye and activates his fight ability, to which he KOs an agent and a trooper. He passes. Miles draws 3 agents: Determination, 2 copies of Energy Drain, and then a Maggia Goon from the villain deck. He can be bribed, and when we fight him, we have to KO a hero. Miles plays Determination, discarding an agent. He then plays both of his Energy Drains, activating 1, and KOing an agent from discard. He plays out and recruits Diving Catch, replacing it with Determination. He recruits Determination and replaces it with Copy Powers. He bribes the Maggia Goons and KOs an agent. He passes. Harrison draws 2 agents: a Shield Officer, Borrowed Brawn, 2 copies of Animal Instincts, and then a Master Strike from the villain deck, meaning both of our players will have to KO a card from hand. Harrison KOs an agent, while Miles KOs a trooper. He plays Animal Instincts, drawing an agent. He plays an activated Animal Instincts and draws a wound. He plays out and recruits Draw Their Fire, replacing it with the dream card for Miles, Unending Energy. Harrison doesn't want to take Energy Drain from Miles, so he recruits a Shield Officer. He passes. Miles draws a sad hand of 3 agents, 2 troopers, and then a Goon from the villain deck. He plays out and takes out a Goon, KOing an agent. He passes. Harrison draws 3 agents, 2 troopers, No Mercy, and then another Tombstone from the villain deck. He plays No Mercy, drawing an agent, and KOing a wound from discard. He plays out, and with no good options, he recruits another shield agent, though looking back, he feels this was incorrect and should have just passed. He passes. Miles plays 3 agents, 2 troopers, high-speed chase, and then a hammerhead from the villain deck. He can be bribed, and when he is fought, we will KO a hero with a recruit icon. Viper escapes and activates her escape ability. Neither of our players have a Hydra villain in their victory pile, so they both gain a wound. Miles KOs Energy Drain and replaces it with High-Speed Chase. He plays High-Speed Chase, drawing a trooper, and Determination, discarding a trooper. He plays out, discarding a trooper. He bribes Hammerhead and KOs a trooper. He passes. Harrison draws an agent, 2 troopers, a shield officer, Borrowed Brawn, Draw Their Fire, and then a Goon from the villain deck. He plays out, gaining a wound from Draw Their Fire. He decides to recruit High-Speed Chase, as it is helpful in either archetype and wants to make up for the lost time when recruiting those shield officers. It is replaced by Invulnerability. He fights the Tombstone in the bank, and both players can reveal a strength hero. He passes. Miles draws 2 agents, Diving Catch, Determination, 2 copies of Energy Drain, and then a Scheme Twist from the villain deck. He decides to KO an Energy Drain and recruiting Invulnerability, replacing it with No Mercy. Harrison decides to KO an Animal Instincts and forego recruiting. Miles plays Determination and discards Diving Catch. He rescues a standard bystander and then draws an agent and Determination. He plays out, discarding an agent. He recruits his gold card, Unending Energy, replacing it with Invulnerability. He then recruits Copy Powers, replacing it with another Copy Powers. He passes. Harrison draws another sad hand of 3 agents, a trooper, a shield officer, and then a Bullseye from the villain deck. He plays out and recruits Copy Powers, as Jigsaw doesn't have an escape ability, so he's not too worried. It's replaced by Cyclops' rare card, X-Men United. This will grant us 6 damage, and when activated by an X-Men hero, it will gain us +2 attack for each X-Men hero played previously. He passes. Miles draws 2 agents, 2 troopers, High-Speed Chase, a wound, and then a Hydra Kidnapper from the villain deck. When we fight the Hydra Kidnapper, we may gain a shield officer. Jigsaw escapes, and Miles KOs Drop Off a Friend, replacing it with Diving Catch. Miles plays High-Speed Chase, drawing an agent, and Diving Catch. We discard Diving Catch and rescue a standard bystander and draw Energy Drain and Determination. He plays Energy Drain activated and KOs a wound. He plays out, discarding a trooper for Determination. He recruits Diving Catch, replacing it with Drop Off a Friend. He then takes out a Goon, KOing an agent. He passes. Harrison draws 2 agents, an officer, No Mercy, Draw Their Fire, Animal Instincts, and then a Goon from the villain deck. He plays Draw Their Fire and gains a wound, but KOs that wound when he plays No Mercy, and drawing a Draw Their Fire. He plays Animal Instincts, drawing a wound. He plays out and gains a wound from the second Draw Their Fire. He recruits Invulnerability, replacing it with Invulnerability. He fights the Hydra Kidnapper and gains a shield officer. Looks like he isn't learning his lesson. He then takes out a goon, KOing an agent. He passes. Miles draws 2 agents, Determination, Unending Energy, Copy Powers, Invulnerability, and then a Hammerhead from the villain deck. He plays Determination using Unending Energy to negate the discard. He then plays Copy Powers, targeting Determination and repeating the process. He plays out, and then recruits X-Men United, replacing it with Borrowed Brawn. He then fights Hammerhead, KOing an agent. He passes. Harrison draws 2 agents, a Trooper, a Shield Agent, High-Speed Chase, a Wound, and then a Hydra Kidnapper from the villain deck. He plays High-Speed Chase, drawing an agent and a Trooper, discarding a Wound. He plays out and recruits No Mercy to hopefully manage his wounds a little better. He passes. Miles draws 2 agents, X-Men United, Energy Drain, Invulnerability, Determination, and then another Hydra Kidnapper from the villain deck. He plays Determination and Energy Drain, discarding an agent. He then plays out. He recruits Copy Powers, replacing it with Borrowed Brawn. He fights Red Skull and rescues a standard bystander. He draws Hydra Conspiracy, which allows Miles to draw 2 cards, plus 1 additional for each Hydra villain in his victory pile. He draws an agent and High-Speed Chase. He plays High-Speed Chase, drawing an agent and an Unending Energy, but he mistakenly discards an agent. He plays out and attacks Red Skull again, drawing Nega Blast Grenade, which will gain him 3 attack. He fights the Hydra Kidnapper in the sewers, but denies the Shield Officer. He then recruits Borrowed Brawn, replacing it with another Borrowed Brawn. He passes. Harrison draws 2 agents, a Trooper, Borrowed Brawn, Copy Powers, and then a Scheme Twist from the villain deck. Harrison KOs Borrowed Brawn and recruits Borrowed Brawn, replacing it with Strength of Spirit. Miles KOs Copy Powers and recruits Drop Off a Friend, replacing it with Sudden Ambush. Miles plays out and had Copy Powers enter as an activated Borrowed Brawn. He fights Bullseye, KOing an agent and a Trooper. He passes. Miles draws an agent, 2 Diving Catches, Determination, Unending Energy, Drop Off a Friend, and then a Scheme Twist from the villain deck. Tough decision for Miles here, but he ends up KOing Diving Catch and recruiting Sudden Ambush, replacing it with Optic Blast. Harrison plays Determination, discarding and activating Diving Catch. He rescues a Radiation Scientist, but doesn't KO anything. He draws Determination and Copy Powers. He plays Drop Off a Friend and discards Unending Energy, which returns to his hand. He plays Copy Powers, which comes in as a copy of Drop Off a Friend, and repeats. He then plays out, and with a whopping 24 attack, he attacks Red Skull, drawing endless resources, gaining 4 recruit. He hits him for the 4th and final time, winning the game. With your team by your side and backed by shield agents, you manage to take down Red Skull and destroy the machine. Were you able to stop him in time? You assess the damage. With our Cosmic Ray level at 3, you wish you could have done more to prevent the Cosmic Ray's release, but the fact that you managed to stop Red Skull at all was a miracle in and of itself. By the time the dust settles, the estimate is casualties in the hundreds. While the full effects of cosmic rays on human psychology are unknown, the small amount of research left over from Project Star Stuff indicated that cosmic ray exposure could result in the acquisition of powerful superhuman abilities, at least in some cases. Unfortunately, in most observations, the human bodies exposed to the rays were unable to contain the raw cosmic power. This exposure proved to be fatal 98% of the time. You fear what this means for the individuals exposed to the rays Red Skull managed to release. During your debrief, you receive word that the foremost authority on all things cosmic, Dr. Reed Richards, has arrived at SHIELD HQ. His news is twofold. First, the release of the cosmic rays has begun to restore the previously lost powers of the Fantastic Four. Second, he reports that one of the Fantastic Four's greatest nemesis, Mole Man, was disturbed by the tremors caused by Red Skull's machine, and may be planning retaliation. Until the Fantastic Four is at full strength again, Dr. Richards is requesting SHIELD assistance. You have been assigned to the mission due to your knowledge of the machine. No need to get anyone else involved at this time. Dr. Richards explains that while not at full power, the Fantastic Four will be of assistance in any way they can. We will now create a second team that is separate from our usual 6-man team. This team will only contain heroes from the Fantastic Four team. Following the campaign guide, we are able to recruit all 4 members of the Fantastic Four, and they are now available to take on missions. Thank you so much for joining me for another gameplay video of Bagel Top's Marvel Legendary Campaign. Tune in next time for mission number 8, Icebreaker. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, let me know down below. And I hope you have a wonderful day.